This is game week for us, and the good, amazing thing about it is our players are really excited, and now you get a chance to, instead of them hitting one another for the last 3 weeks, they get to go out on Saturday and hit someone else. And Elon is a really good football team, but I told them, I said, it's not so much that we're going to always respect our opponent, but it comes down to how we're going to play. And then we're going to play with passion, or we're going to play with energy, enthusiasm. We're going to go out and play with great fundamentals and technique, but more importantly, just go play as a team and enjoy this. You only get 12 opportunities, and this is our first opportunity, and it happens so fast. And I said, you know what? You'll wake up one day, and it'll be the end of the season, and you'll say, wow, what happened? I've had an opportunity to speak to some of our seniors from last year. A lot of them have come back, and they come back to practice. They always have that conversation. Coach, you told us it goes so fast. And yes, it does. And you got to take advantage of every opportunity given to you, every minute and every second that you have. But we're really excited. I can't make any promises. I know sometimes people say, hey, what's your forecast? What do you think is going to happen? Only thing I just hope that happens that each and every game we go out and we play and we represent this university the right way and our teammates go out and just play within themselves. I told them, I don't need a great play. I just need you to take care of your job. We all have a job to do. Just do your job. But I am really excited for this team. We know we lost a lot last season, but also we returned a lot. I'm not one of those coaches who talk about it's a rebuilding. We never should have to rebuild here. We ought to recruit enough good players, which we have done, that we just reload. And now, guys are going to pass on, but the next opportunity comes for someone else. But still have a few more days left, so we get to prepare here. We still have the days left. Today is a Tuesday. So we're going to go out and just, this is one of those days where we got to really grind it out. But the time that we've had in the last 2 weeks of preparing, the grind doesn't have to be as tough. But we know that mentally we got to get ready to play. And the last, some of the times I know you heard me speak, and I said I wasn't very happy about some of our practices, and I wasn't, because I expect more, and I want them to expect more from themselves. But very excited about it, and just look forward to the challenge. But we have to get our fans, and we have to get them out to the game, because that's what's going to be critical for us.
Charlie, can you talk about the decision for the starting quarterback and what went into that?
I thought that would be my last question. Well, the quarterback position, Blake Barnett is going to be the starter. And not so much it came down to, this guy over this guy. They all had this evenly distributed reps. And then it just came down as a decision. And I told our offense, we need to make a decision on the quarterback, because the team needs to see who's going to be the guy. And for just every day, just who's going to run the team. And this is the person we're going to count on. But when you keep rolling guys out, now they got to get a feel for it. And here's our guy. And that's the decision we came with.
What does Blake bring?
Well, you look at it. He's, I know he's been a few trips around, but he comes in here, and through the whole process, he actually contacted us and said, "Hey, Coach, I want to come there and transfer." But he's been in the game before, so he's played a lot, and not saying that Brett or Oladokin couldn't have done it. They're still also, and I told them, I said, even though we have picked a quarterback, you still got to go out and compete each and every day too. Because I said it's one position. You think about it on your football team, there's one position that you just got, it's only going to be with that one guy. Wide receivers, you can rotate guys in, running back, you rotate guys in, offensive line. But with the quarterback position, you got to go with someone, and you got to stick with them.
Do you think that naming a starter has helped the continuity of the practices since you've decided that?
Yeah, well, it's going to help the continuity, because the guys are going to know when you call out ones now, here comes the guy that steps up. And you needed that continuity. And so that, like I said, the offensive line knows now who's the quarterback as well as the running backs and wide receivers. And the great thing about it is that, it was a really good battle. And that's what I said. I don't ever want to talk about rebuild and reload, that we have options. And we have guys that can step out there. Not only that position, but I look at at our running back position, when you can line up with Cronkite, you can line up with Bell, you can line up with Mack, you can line up with a freshman and Johnny Ford, you have Sands. You know, offensive line, I know we lost some guys, but still you can line up and you look outside with Norman, you go Atterbury, you go Mays, now Wiggs at center, you go Harris. So there's 5 guys that are guys that can go out and compete for us. And then wide receiver, everybody knows McCants for the way he drugged the guy in the Central Florida game, but there's still Solomon. You know, Bronson has had a really good camp for us, and he's back. St. Felix is probably the biggest surprise for us at camp right now, and Dukes is playing well. Jannard Phillips is playing well. Really good competition. You know, tight end, I don't know if there's a better player in the country right now than Mitch Wilcox. I mean, what he brings and the things he can do and just how valuable he is. But then we lose Kano, and then, you know, you're sitting there and you're kind of concerned. Now, Lloyd has beefed up and has really come on for us and is really having an outstanding camp for us. And then, you know, you add, you know, we were able to add some guys there at that position. So now you're looking at your offense and you're saying, you know what, we should be a really good offense. You know, we got numbers, we got experience. And then on the defensive side, we lost 7 starters. So up front now, you know, and I was telling our defensive line with Bronson and Kegler inside and with Reeves, who's played a lot of football for us. And now Vince Jackson has had a good camp. Even Brown and Black both have come on and had really good camps for us. So we feel pretty good. And I said if there is a strong position for us on our football team right now, it's got to be our defensive front. Because there's a lot of numbers there, and it's a lot of guys that have played a lot. Now, the linebacker position, you know, it took Sawtell is really having a good camp for us, and he's doing really good. And then I took McGee and moved him from the secondary to linebacker. We actually did that last year in the Central Florida game, but he came to me like 3 games, 7th game last year, and he says, Coach, I want to move to linebacker. And I said, you sure? And I said, I've been trying to get you to move there. Now, are you really sure you want to move? He said, yeah, I want to play. I said, well, I've been telling you that. You're not going to play. You need to move where you can play. And he's really had a really big camp for us. Then you have Boyles is going to be an outstanding player for us. He's a freshman. Greer, Johnson. And then you go back in the secondary, you know, Ronnie Hoggins is probably, you know, you don't like to say, because Ronnie's not very big. He's actually shorter than I am, but you don't ever want to say that your leadership is going to come from a little guy, because you like for it to come from a big guy. So when they hear his voice, but Ronnie has done a great job. And then you look on the outside with Wilkins, Massey's having a good camp. Hamp has really came on for us. And then Jamon is a stable. LaPointe, Bentley Sanders is probably of all the secondary has really had one. Then I took D-Lo and I moved him from wide receiver to the secondary. So we feel pretty good about our defense. We won't be big, but we have enough speed where we can run. And that's the thing. If you can run people down, you have a chance to go track them down. And then with our kickers, you know, Aussie is going to be our punter. Snyder, he's going to be our punter. And then Vivanetto and Weiss is still battling out. And also with Stone, all 3 guys are battling out for the kicking duties with the extra point field goals. So you look at our team, and I know that we will be young, but even a lot of times, if you just, you know, we put them in the right position, and as a coaching staff, we're going to have to do that, then it's going to give us a chance.
Did Blake, we talked to Blake 2 Saturdays ago, and he said he was picking up the offense pretty fast. Does that come with him having some experience, the way he carries himself? What have you noticed him just coming in and picking up the offense? You know,
I walked out here one night, and it was, you know, it's, you know, probably 9 o'clock, and we had practiced early that day, and everyone was gone, and so I was leaving out, and I walked out of the building, and Blake was sitting outside, and I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm waiting for as we all know, he's married. He said, I'm waiting for my wife to pick me up. And I said, well, he said, I've been up here in the film room because I got to pick this offense up, Coach. But that just shows you, because where he's been around. He's a vet, so he knows he's got to pick it up. And you know, with the other 2 quarterbacks, you know, and like I said, and it's not like, you know, the guy just came in as an overwhelming favorite that we got to take this guy. I mean, he's got to be our quarterback. But, you know, he's a guy that studied it, and he had to catch up because he's only had so many practices. So he wasn't here in the spring. He didn't go through spring training. You know, my man arrived here in May. So we get him in his classes and get him going. But he has done a really good job of coming in and learning and picking it up.
Charlie, you know, you have 2 other guys who have put a lot of sweat equity into the program. They're popular among their teammates. were you concerned that this decision may create friction in the locker room?
No, you know, a lot of times that is one of your biggest fear because they have developed those relationships. And so once you develop a relationship, you just don't know what clique they're in. So, okay, if that guy's in that clique, then or that set of guys going to be mad that we didn't select him. But it wasn't like that. Like when you want to win, I think that you set all of that aside and then you look at it, and they were smart enough to look at it and say, okay, who's going to be the guy? And it was never where it came down to, hey, we're going to have some guys upset. And even me, I just tried to get a feel for the team and see what the pulse was. And I asked some guys, I said, okay, if he comes, whoever comes out, are you guys going to have an issue with? And still we're dealing with selfish young players. Heck, as long as you can get them the ball somehow, they don't care who's back there. If I can throw it and they were, and I was the quarterback, they'll be happy about it. But no, it never came down to that. And you would feel like it because there's guys, they have been here, they've already developed those relationships. And I told them, I said, guys, it's not like you don't ever feel like because you've been in a program 3 years, it's your job. But no, it's you go win that job. And I said, just look at some of these other positions. We have some very talented freshmen that have come into the program, and they're going to step up and they're going to be some really good players for us. And I said, so don't be. And I tell a freshman all the time, the best thing you do is just go to work. You don't need to say anything. You just let your work do your talking, and then you're going to have a chance to play.
Charlie, Elon, talk about some of the challenges they pose. I know Kurt Segnetti, that team break through last year, and on top of it's tough to break through. So what are some of the challenges you think they're facing against them Saturday night?
Well, I know Signetti, and I know he's an outstanding coach, and his team is going to be well prepared and going to be a very well-coached football team. But you look at them on offense, they return the quarterback, and even a running back. The running back rushed for, 260 in a game last year. So we're going to have to be able to tackle. We're going to have to get lined up. And I always look at it on defense, you got to get your feet in the ground. And if you're able to get your feet in the ground, you get off blocks, then run to the ball, and we're going to have to tackle well. Offensively, we're going to have create explosive plays. And we're going to have to be able to get the ball in our playmakers' hands and let them run with it. Protect the quarterback because that's going to be we can't allow our quarterback to get hit. But I always tell our guys this, is that we have to go out and we have to play at a level where we play. And don't be concerned about the other team. Don't be concerned about who you're playing. You just have to you got to go play. And I always look at them, just look at yourself. You have to look at yourself and just say, am I giving great effort? Is it hard work and effort? If we can get the hard work and effort, then we have a chance to go win and play with some passion. Then I won't be as concerned about who we play, because then now I'm going to be able to watch our guys just go out and perform.
Looking at this conference, Coach, do you like this team kind of having that underdog mentality as opposed to last year with the target on your backs? Now you guys are kind of
It just depends on the team. Like last year's team, I didn't mind it at all because I felt like we had a really good football team. And so it was more of us. I think back last season, and you're right, here we are. And early, I think we read too much about how good we were going to be. When you go out to San Jose and you're down 16-0, and we're a better football team than that. And so you're sitting there like, hey, we just stay, guys. And I don't think we've ever been in that position. And it's so funny. I was talking to our guys today in the staff meeting. I said, if you had to walk down that sideline, you would have thought there's no way we're going to come back and win this football game because, it kind of shocked them. Like, okay, we're down 16-0. And then we were able to put it back together and had the quarterback that we had. But, with this team here, it's because of the position that we're in and what's around us, now we have to go play and we have to go make a name and we have to go do that ourselves now. So it's more about us going to go play now. But, each and every week go out and compete. And if we're as good as we think we are, then we'll make those steps. If we're not, then we won't ever be able to get there.
You mentioned San Jose State, the disappointing first half. Is there anything you guys are doing differently in this preparation week than you did last year at this time to kind of avoid something like that?
It'll be hard for me to remember last season. During the preparation week, but the San Jose, it was just now you're playing. I know it's Elon, but now you're at home. I think going out there, you're on the road. I think we went out there on a Wednesday and we went out there and practiced because we was trying to get them just acclimated to the time zone. But it was. It's nothing different. It's just how we have to get them ready to go play, and then it's going to be on us as a coaching staff everything we do, it's just like we have to be detailed about it, and you got to make sure, because when you're dealing with a young team, you have to be detailed, because you're dealing with such a young group of guys. You know, a lot of time with vets, you know, they figure it out. Young guys don't figure it out, so you're gonna have to tell them each step along the way.
What's Blake's greatest strength, do you think?
Just you know, because he's been around, and it's just his maturity, because he's been around. But you know, you look at him; he has a really strong arm. He can release the ball, and it runs a lot better than what we thought. You know, what we give him credit for. You know, I was shocked to see him, you know, run out there sometime, because he said to me, "I'm faster than what you thought." I said, "Yeah, you are." I never saw that speed. And also you're looking at someone who's looking to prove to himself and prove to everybody else that he's a good player.
Coach, was this where Sterling came to you and said, "Hey, this is who I want to be our starter on Saturday"?
No, what I did is I walked in the offensive staff, and first what I did, because I'm always in the defensive room, I asked those guys. I said, "Well, who do you guys think should be the guy?" And then I walked in the offensive staff, and I said, "I'm not going to tell you guys what the defense said, but who do you guys if you had to pick your starter today, who would you pick?" And, you know, I just went around the table to each coach, and I would say why, and you know, so then Sterling and I sat down and then we talked about it. But what I didn't want to do is it all to fall on his shoulder, because I wanted to hear everyone else's opinion, because I think that when you get everyone else's opinion, you know, guys are gonna, you know, at the end of the day we're gonna pick a starter, but I'd like to hear what everyone else thinks and how they feel about it.
Was it consensus that Foreman was going to be the guy?
I think that, you know, guys, I'm not gonna say it's a consensus, but guys had their, you know, each guy had a guy that they liked. You know, because like I said, each one of them bring. Like you look at Brett. Brett's strong enough where they know the offense, and he can throw the ball, put us in position. And even Oladokin can beat you with his feet and throwing the football. And then, so you just try to say, okay, now who are we gonna be the guy where we got to go and get ready to go play, guys. We got to make a decision here.
Do you have a QB2?
Do I have a QB?
QB2.
QB2. Well, I think that that's how the game goes. Who will come in next and play?
You have a long snapper?
I have a long snapper. I hope Denny can long snap. It's long snap for me.
Do you think the way this team handled the loss of Quentin Flowers and Avi Sanchez, they seem to take that loss as a challenge rather than saying, "Oh my God, we got to replace these guys"? Do you think that's a sign of maturity of this team? And did they, in fact, do that? And do you think that's a sign that this team is maturing into a solid?
You know what I always say to a football team? Each football team has its own season, its own expectation, and what people expect of them. And whenever I have a team meeting, the seniors sit up front, and I say to them, you know, in another year, you will not be sitting here. It'll be someone else sitting here. So you're just passing through. I said, you're going to get your degree, which we always know that's going to happen. I said, you're going to get your degree, but our goal is to win championships and prepare players for life. So you're passing through, so the next guy just moves forward. So whether we know this Quint was a really good player, Augie did an unbelievable job, but what happened with those guys, for 3 years they were the voice of this team. So that my senior group now, they didn't have to speak much. So when you go down to it, you know, Mays didn't have to say much, McCann didn't have to say nothing, because those guys were the voice. Now that they're gone, now it's their turn, and they have to step up because it's their turn now. Because those guys, they're not coming back, guys. Hey, we're not going to wake up in the morning and number 9 going to go running on that field. Or Augie 43 is not going to go rolling out there. So it was a challenge for them, because so much had been said about, you know, that group of seniors last year and what they've done for this program. But even this group of seniors can do even more, because they can add their stamp on the program, and then they can just add more wins to it. And so it's what's really going to be amazing, because you look at us with 21-4 over the last 2 seasons. If these guys have a great year, they get to add to it, so they can go out as the winningest senior class, and then the next class coming behind them can go out as a winningest senior class. So it's just, you got to be prepared, and that's coming from the coaching too, where you take leaders and say, hey, look, you got to become the guy. You have to become the guy.
But isn't that tougher to do if you've got a team that doesn't have a winning culture? I mean, the fact that this team has had the 2 really good years with 2 big bowl wins over big-time opponents, has that probably given them the confidence to do what you're talking about instead of saying, oh my God, how are we ever going to replace these guys?
Well, it gives them the confidence because they were a part of it. So they were a part of those 2 winning seasons. You know, they were sophomores, they're juniors, and now they're seniors. And that's why I say that they can walk out of here as wanting to win in the senior class because of what they've done their sophomore and junior year. And but when you talk about it, that's why like everything you build with a player, it's got to be his confidence. And you got and even though because a lot of them are gonna come in here with their head big and everything, you got to smash that right off. But then you have to build it back up. And so you have to build their confidence. So because I tell you this, when we walk out there on Saturday, I mean, it's going to be a culture shock to a lot of them. So we went over to the stadium on Sunday just to do a mock walkthrough. So because I wanted to get them in the stadium because some of them had never been in there. Because, you know, you look at it, just take our offensive line. Wiggs and Harris have never lined up in that ballpark. You know, but Mays and Storman and Atterbury, they have. So they even the quarterbacks, they've been in there, but they took a snap from center, and that's really, you know, it's live action coming at you. You know, some of the receivers have, but even on defense, I had some young guys. So it's, you know, with the confidence, if we build in the confidence, and that's more than anything where we had to continue to build them up. And there's going to be some bad, and I told them, guys, there's going to be some bad plays that happen in this game, but we're going to have to be able to bounce back, and can we bounce back from it?
What's the night before the first game of the season like for you? What kind of goes through and what's your preparation?
You know, what I do the night before a game, I call it the best Fridays in football. So what we do is we'll go to the hotel and we have dinner. So I'll speak to them before dinner, and it's kind of like, hey, you know what, guys, we don't play until tomorrow. You don't have to get ready right now. You know, just you have tip sheets. You know, we give them tip sheets. You guys have, if anything you need and you do not know, study that tip sheet so that we'll make sure that you're playing at your best. And then as soon as they finish, I give them a few minutes to go up to the room to change because we travel, how we travel. I let them go change, and they come back down and say, hey, be back down at, you know, if we send like 7:45 or whatever. So the best Friday, so I have a room set up where they can go watch a movie. So guys that want to watch a movie, they go here. And then I have a room set up where if a Friday night game is on, we'll watch a Friday night game. Then I let some guys play dominoes, some guys play spades and whatever. I just want them in a relaxed state of mind. Because I always felt like when you're dealing with young people now, it used to be a time like back, 20 years from now, you'll be meeting and you'll be like, you got to study. You're just sitting there watching film. And half the time you look around, the guys are asleep. So it's like, or you took them to the movie. So you look in a movie theater and half of them are asleep. They have a popcorn, but they, instead of them watching the movie's watching them. So I just said, no more am I going to do this. By doing that, they get into that. I mean, it's like, oh my God, it's so loud sometimes. You have to tell them, hey guys, okay, calm down. But they just get into the spades. They get into playing dominoes. Some of them play the tonk. I mean, but there's no betting. I mean, probably it's betting going on. I don't see it. They're probably, hey, you owe me this, you owe me this. But but that Friday night is more of just relaxation. And then Saturday morning is now we got to get them locked in and get them geared up, get them ready to go play. Because you don't want to get them, because a lot of times you don't want it to happen too soon, because then when they go out there, I mean, they're exhausted because you're just pounding them. And I remember when I used to work with Coach Holtz, he said, just remember, the last thing you tell them is going to always be what they remember first. So if you don't tell them something there, if you said, hey, watch this, and then it doesn't happen, Coach, you said that's going to happen. Well, sometimes it doesn't, but no, I try to get them relaxed.
What have you seen from the league's sometimes former five-star, benched in his first series at Alabama, transfers to Arizona State, can't unseat the incumbent, but then comes here and gets that. What have you seen mentally from him? Is this somebody that you're worried about maybe being fragile if things don't go his way?
No, really, I'm not fragile about it if it doesn't happen for him. Because he's been through it now. So, okay, like you said, you're a five-star. And so what I did was with each player, I make them tell their story. So what I do, I get each player and I get them in front of everyone, in front of their team. And I said, listen, I want you to tell your story. But I don't want to talk about football. I don't want to hear anything about football. I want you to tell them who you are. Because I said, within this room, even though we may have come from different families or different walks of life. Our stories may be the same. You may be battling what I'm battling. But I didn't know it because I never took the time out to really know who you are, and you never asked me who am I. So Blake gets up, and Blake was talking about, I've been there, guys. I was a 5-star. I was the #1 player in the country. I was this, I was that. But now it probably happened too fast for me. So now that I've settled down, I have a family, I have a child. So now it's a totally different perspective for me, and I see it different now. So that's why it really doesn't, because even like now you can tell his maturity level over the rest of the guys. I mean my man's married and have a family, so it's going to be a little different for him. But no, it really hasn't. And he just talked, and he told the guys like who he was, and where I think he he didn't play football. Maybe he didn't really get going until his 11th grade, and I think his 4th game, he said, my 4th game into my junior year, I got an offer from UCLA. So you think how big my head was. So then I go through there, and then all of a sudden here they come, and then I go to the quarterback competition, and I win it. So really think about how big my head is. Now I go to Alabama, and I'm the starting quarterback at Alabama. My freshman year, out of the gate, I'm the starting quarterback at Alabama. Say, come on. So he's seen it all. So I don't worry about his mental makeup at all. I think that this is good for him, really, because you don't have all the glaring expectations, and so I think it allows him to really just calm down and be himself.
This offense suits what Sterling wants to do, suits the players you have now better than last year. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, well, more of now he has a chance because now this is their second year into it. And even with that group of guys last year, if they were here now, it would be now that they would know the offense. It's hard to come in after in 1 year and just really teach them the offense. Even like defensively, defense is, you line up, you run into the football. So, hey, it ain't hard. Hey, I want you to blitz. I want you to play man coverage. But the way Sterling's offense is, it's a lot of individual routes. There's a lot of technique. But the thing he does, he can half in one side of the field and get the ball where it needs to get to.
Blake has a strong arm. You're not worried about any different kinds of throws that you have to make that kind of limited the offense last year?
Well, I don't think it eliminated the offense last year. Q was a different player than Blake, and we know how outstanding he was. So you're looking at two different ball players.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
I'm very excited, man. I thank the Lord each and every day, for giving me, this opportunity, though. So, I just come out, try to, work hard each and every day and give it my all.
It's a question everybody says, are you happy to finally be able to hit somebody else? How much hitting do you feel like doing against your own guys in practice? I know you want to let it out against somebody else.
Yeah, we go against our offense like almost every day, in camp. It's finally, exciting to go against somebody else. So, it's exciting. It's going to be fun.
Kevin, if you could just estimate how many defensive linemen, interior guys and ends, do you think we'll see Saturday?
Probably about, I want to say probably 12, probably like 10 to 12, probably 10 to 12 guys. I'll probably see, sometime on the field.
So not talking just quality, but in terms of quantity, your numbers are better up front than you probably were last year, right?
Yeah, it's always, playing defensive line, you always want to create a rotation. You got to have a rotation playing defensive line. I don't think, there's anybody that plays the whole game, so, we got a lot of depth, that's good. That's going to help us out. And you don't want it to be a drop-off, too, when, somebody that had experience and towards somebody that didn't have experience. So, you just, it's going to be exciting and fun.
Possible that some freshmen could get some decent time?
Yeah, we got, Barber probably will play, Rashawn Yates, he going to play, and, those guys, they'll see some action on the field. So, it's exciting to see what they can do,
Can you talk about how the line at Jill during fall camp, how you guys came together, the camaraderie among you?
Yeah, we all, we come together, we probably, do a lot of stuff outside of, football too. Probably, go see a movie every once in a while and stuff like that though. But we gonna need each and every one, it's a team, it's like a brotherhood too, football brotherhood. So, we all coming together and gel along together good.
Chris Strong said you had the big Friday night ritual and maybe a little bit to take your mind off the game, so you're not just too gassed up the night before. Does that work?
Yeah, it does though. You know, coming into a game, you know, it's gonna come. The game gonna come. So you know, the Friday night, you know, you just relax. You know, enjoy the time with your teammates. You know, watch the little games that's probably on. You know, and just get ready for Saturday.
You mentioned you guys play like dominoes and spades. Who's the best one?
I'm not sure. I really don't play. I'll probably be watching movies. I like to watch movies, so I'll probably be in the movie room when they do that. So.
What have you seen in Elon when you think about them from what you've seen?
I mean, they're a good team. You know, they like to run a lot of 12 personnel. You know, they like to do a lot of power. You know, splits on the side. You know, stuff like that. They're a great team, though. We're not overlooking anyone. We going if you overlook an opponent, that's how you end up getting beat. So you know, Elon's a great team, and we're gonna come and get ready to work.
You know, it's been really well, you know, throughout camp. He's stepped into a role. He's came in, he's transferred in, he's really blended with the team well. He's gotten down with the chemistry with the, the receivers, the tight ends, just the entire offense. And, you know, it's just, you know, I think everybody's, excited when we heard the announcement. Everything, it was just like whoever would have been like the offense would have just kept rolling. But I think with him, he's very, poised back there and just gives that extra confidence in the offense.
Just from a fundamental standpoint, what's impressed you the most from him?
I just think his leadership. He's a great leader. He takes, the schools he's came from. He takes some qualities from them and he brings it to us, which helps the entire offense and entire team out. And, he's just a guy that he never really like yells. He never really gets angry. He wants the best to happen, and if that's not happening, he knows how to calm the team down. He knows how to get us rolling.
Obviously, there's some differences between him and Quentin from an athletic standpoint. What do you see maybe are the biggest differences between the two now having played for him?
Actually, he's actually a pretty good athlete. It surprised us a lot. He's a taller guy. Quentin's, he's this tall. Blake's he's like I think about 6'4", 6'5", but He's done some things this camp that surprised a lot of us. We didn't expect it from him. Then he's really athletic, being a taller guy, and I'm just excited to see what he can do.
Were you expecting a stiff out there? Were you expecting a stiff out there?
I wasn't expecting a stiff, but it was it's just different. From going from Quentin to him, but I think he'll do a good job, and I think the offense will keep rolling.
Only a couple more days of practice left. Do you sense everybody's anxious to get going?
Oh, everybody's ready. Everybody keeps talking about it. We actually had a little get together this past weekend. Everybody's excited. Everybody's talking about what they're gonna do, what they're going for, and all this. So I think it's just been a long time coming since the Birmingham Bowl. Since the Birmingham Bowl, everybody's just been ready. Just to get back on the field and get back to playing somebody else. We're tired of beating up on each other. It's we're just ready to play somebody else. So.
Tyree, what did you say to guys, or did you say anything to Brett or Chris, who've invested a lot of time in this program, and just from what you saw, how did they take the news?
I just told them to keep their head up and stay ready, because God forbid anything happen to Blake or whatever, you always gotta be ready. We're confident in all three of them. All three of them can come in and lead this offense. But I talked to them, and I just told them we're gonna need you at some point in this season. We're gonna need you, whether it be on the field, off the field, in the locker room. We're gonna need you. And, those guys, they have good heads on their shoulders. They're confident, and they're just being strong-minded right now. And everybody wants what's best for the team. So, those guys, I'm proud of how they've handled it. And, like I said, I told them that we're going to need them at some point during the season.
Sorry, how does this team handle the underdog expectations this year? Because last year, obviously, you were the target on your back. Now you guys are kind of being overlooked a little bit. Do you like that mentality a little bit, meeting the guys that maybe you may surprise in this conference?
I think it's a position we've been in before, from previous years. So I think it's not a position that anybody's not familiar with. So I think it's kind of, it's kind of an advantage to us. Like, some people may, overlook us or anything, but we know what we have. We know what we're capable of. And I wouldn't necessarily say we like it or don't like being an underdog, but I think we're comfortable, where we're at. So.
Focusing on Elon, what do they do defensively? What's their base set?
They're a 3-4 defense. Sometimes they bring in, extra DBs and stuff in. But they're a really physical team. I know their front seven are real physical. I know they have I think it was an All-American linebacker last year. You know, they're a really good team. They're physical, and they seem really disciplined. So, you know, it's gonna be a tough matchup.
Coach Strong said we talked about last year the slow start against San Jose State was a little bit shaky, but there's no chance of that happening this year because you're at home. How much does it mean to start at home, and are you fired up for that?
I think it's a good feeling. You know, San Jose was 5 hours, time difference, all that. I think that was something that a lot of the team wasn't comfortable with. But I think being at home, being in front of the fans, being in front of just the family environment, I think that's going to really excite everybody. You know, it's a night game, so it's gonna everybody's juice is gonna be pumped. So
this team seemed to have kind of let down against Stony Brook, which was last year, which is the same class as this team. Do you think there's any chance at all with Georgia Tech coming up that this team will look past Elon toward Georgia Tech?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we will ever overlook an opponent. We have to give opponent respect they deserve. They're coming in here. No team's ever a pushover, so we can never overlook anybody, no matter FBS, FCS, no matter what it is, we can never overlook them. I think that's something that the team kind of did last year, but I know for sure that this year that we're never going to overlook anybody.